Scott, we're here. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. And you know what, everyone? Happy Turkey Day. Cracking open a little brewski here. And it is East Coast Lager special delivery from my boy Nick. Don't know if I'm allowed to show this on the screen here, but East Coast Lager, best in the business. Week 13, Turkey Day. We got games tomorrow, Friday. It's just a great week for football. Hopefully, no one's working Friday. Hopefully, you're done as of today and you're just going to enjoy some food, some company, some drinks, some football. Have yourself a weekend.
I love that, Scott. Were you? Is that 63? Yeah. I'm
Hey,
redoing
all I'm
the.
saying is you better redo the count here because it doesn't look right to me.
I'm doing the count. All right. Let me throw up the recap from last week while I'm adjusting this count. All right. You
Okay,
can
while you're throwing
see.
it up,
You
yes,
can see very plainly that I've once again game to gain back on you. Your lead is dwindling, Scott.
Evelyn,
It's
happy
dwindling.
Thanksgiving to you as well. Yes, dwindling. I would like to point out after my back-to-back weeks going 20 or 11 and 1, so 22 and 2, I think I think I'm just going even every week. I'm going like 6 and 6. I think I've been 5 and 7 once or twice in that span. So I need to pick it up here and I'm feeling real good about this week. Uh, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm smelling a little 10 and 2 week here.
10-2 week. I would love to see that. So go ahead and get us started here with the first game. We're gonna talk Turkey Day here first, folks. We got three games
Yep.
tomorrow for Thanksgiving. We got one game on Black Friday, Sunday night football, Monday night
Mhm.
football, and then about
Mhm.
six other games that are gonna fall on the early slate of the Sunday afternoon schedule.
Mhm.
Scotty boy, we got the Bears taking on the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Who do you got here?
Great game. Look, they're Montgomery and Amon Ra are on the injury report. Limited participants this week. They are questionable for the game, so that will be big if one or both of them are out. Maybe that's why I mentioned it before the show. The spread right now is at 9.5. I thought this would be like a minimum 10.5, pushing 13-point spread. Maybe it's because Montgomery and Amon Ra are limited and might not play. But look, the Lions continue to prove me wrong week after week. I think they're going to lion. They're not going to lion. I will say Mr. Butts is very confident in them this week. We have them in our circa pick as well, which that kind of scares me. This is the first week he had 100% confidence in them. But look, the last two times the Lions were double-digit favorites, they scored 52 points in each of those games. So for me, I'm going to roll with the hot team. I'm going to roll with the kneecaps. Yes, the Bears had a nice backdoor cover last week. I loved it. Took it to overtime. Still covered for us. But in the end, I think Detroit is they're just a powerhouse. I will say, though, if Montgomery and Amon Ra do not play, 9.5 points is a lot for them to cover offensively, but they still have the weapons. Jamison Williams, they still got Gibbs. I mean, they can make it happen. Laporta. So I do not like the Bears or backdoor cover in this game. Is it possible? Yes, 9.5 points is a lot, but like I said, the last two times the Lions were double-digit favorites, I said the same thing, and they blew the teams out of the water. Um, you might want to bring this up, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there because I know you're going to say it. The Lions have not won the last 6 games on Thanksgiving, but it changes this year. Uh, Give me Dan Campbell with the Lions minus 9.5.
Yeah, Dan Campbell's gonna go home sad again on Thanksgiving.
No
Unfortunately for
way.
Dan Campbell, no, probably not. I'm not ready to get in front of this Lions team and back this Bears squad. They played great last week. Caleb Williams had a great game. He started to look like a bit more consistent under this new offensive coordinator after they made that change. But I don't know. I can't get in front of this Lions team, and I dang sure don't want to go against them right now. Also, this is just one of those classic letdown spots, in my opinion, especially being on Thanksgiving. You mentioned that they've lost 6 or 7 in a row. It's a lot of points. This one could go one of two ways, in my opinion. It's either going to be like a 19-13 type game to start off Thanksgiving, and it's going to be slow and sluggish, and everybody's going to be like, this is the only game on TV. What are we doing? or it's going to be Lions 49 to Bears 12, and same thing. Oh, this is the only game on TV. When's the next one start? So it's going to be one of two ways. Either way, you're going to be feeling the same way. Give me the under 47.5 here. I think the Lions defense comes to play. I think the Bears defense comes to play. The Bears defense was one of the best in the league at the beginning of the season, and I've really fallen off. I think they get right here. It's prime time. It's not prime time like night slot, but it's the only game on. They're going to come to play. It's Thanksgiving. We'll see who's eating turkey at the end. I think it's going to be the Lions, but you never know. You never know. You never know.
No. This is
you
not
never
the
know.
game. The game
you never
the Bears
know.
defense comes to play is not against the Lions, who are putting up 52 points against games
hey,
against
no Amon Ra, and no David Montgomery. That's 2 or 3 touchdowns a game that go out of that Detroit offense, just like that. So
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Just saying. All right, moving on to the next game on Thanksgiving. We got Giants making the trip to Dallas. This is one of the ugliest games of the week. This is another one that people are going to be watching and going, this is the only game on. Put the parade back on. Give me the under 37.5. It's going to be ugly. Find something else to do. Play games with your family. Spend time with them. Bond. Don't watch this game. There's nothing to watch. I don't know why. It's going to be atrocious. It's going to be you got Tommy DeVito going against Cooper Rush. Awful stuff. Give me the under 37.5. I would lean towards the Cowboys, though, here. Scott, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm not proud of myself for this one. You said it perfectly, though. This game is perfectly scheduled by the NFL. It is 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. That is when, set your plates for 4 p.m. Enjoy some time with your family for those 2.5 hours. There's no point to turn this one on, and then tune back in for the game later in the evening. But look, Daboll's on the hot seat. Last week was probably one of the craziest endings to a game we've seen in a long time in the NFL between the Cowboys and Washington. So they got a little fight in them, but not really from, offensively. Their special teams was getting it done, and their defense was getting it done. Michael Parsons, 8 tackles, 2 sacks last week. Look, banged up quarterback in DeVito. Is Drew Lock going to play? Their team has given up 34 sacks. Parsons going to eat against them. The Giants are 0-5 at the spread as an underdog of 4 points or less. So this is the very few times that I will say, go Cowgirls, give me the boys, -3.5.
Yeah, it's been a rough year for the Cowboys. It would be a nice little pick-me-up to get some turkey on Turkey Day. And also, you mentioned the fact that DeVito is hurt, so it might be Drew Lock. The fact that Daboll skipped Drew Lock on that depth chart after they released Daniel Jones and went to DeVito tells me 2 things, Scott. It's either, 1, they're tanking and they're playing for next year, or 2, he gets fired. Either way, it's a win-win for Daboll. So I think that's why he went that way. They are not, based off of the game last week against the Bucs, this team is obviously not coming to play. So I like that Cowboys pick. All right, tomorrow night, the night game of Thanksgiving. I don't know why they did my team like this. The Miami Dolphins are taking the trip to Green Bay to freeze their ass off on Thanksgiving on prime time for the world to see that, yes, the Dolphins still struggle in cold weather. I am going to be praying for Tua to not fall and hit his head on that very cold grass
frozen tundra
of Lambeau Field, and I will be crossing my fingers the entire time, but it's not going to be enough. The Packers are going to win this one. They're going to cover. It's not going to be close in my opinion. Packers -3.5. Scott, what do you got?
Yeah, look, I'm with you. Packers won the last 3 matchups against the Dolphins, 6 of the last 8. Miami, however, is 5-2 on Turkey Day, but they have not beat the Packers since 2014, and they have not won in Lambeau since 2010. Also, we all know the stat. Temperature, 40 degrees or less. Tua is 0-7 in those games, and don't expect it to be a warm one in Lambeau. Miami does have a top 10 run defense right now, so could they bottle up Josh Jacobs? Maybe, but I think it's just going to be too much. I do like Jacobs to get in the end zone. I like Jordan Love to get it done through the air. I don't see Miami and Tua coming to play. A fish in the cold is not what you want, so I'm going to go Green Bay -3.5 as well.
All right. Raiders making the trip to Kansas City on Black Friday. Chiefs are a 13-point favorite after beating the Panthers as a double-digit favorite last week by just 3. The difference in this one, though, they are at home here, Scott, and I think that is a
Mm,
big
mm,
difference.
mm.
The Raiders are without Gardner Minshew. He broke his collarbone, so he is done for the year. So it's going to be Aiden O'Connell back in the starting role for them. I think the Raiders actually cover this game. I think it's ugly. I lean towards the under in this one. But I'm not impressed by this Chiefs team. They have played a lot of one-possession games this year. There's a lot of games that you could say, were given by the refs. A lot of things went their favor at the end of a couple of these games. So I'm not sold on them. I'm not buying in on what the Chiefs are selling right now. So give me the Raiders to cover. I'm not saying the Raiders win, but on Black Friday, I got to go with the black and silver. Scott, what do you got?
Yeah, look, the Raiders are turning to Desmond Ridder at quarterback. They've lost double
Oh,
digits in
that's true. I forgot
consecutive
about
games
Desmond
coming out of
Ridder.
the bye week.
I like it even more.
So double digits, consecutive games coming out of the bye week. They have lost by the Raiders. Last year, Kansas City in Arrowhead played Las Vegas on Christmas Day, and what happened then? 20-14 loss to the Raiders, stunning fashion. Kansas City, as you mentioned, they were 0-4 at the spread when favored by 7 points or more this season. We've seen the stat that if you flip around the last possession of the game, the Chiefs are 3-8 or whatever they are this season, not 9-2. This could be a surprise game for the Raiders. I like them. Look, they got nothing to lose. It's just like Cleveland playing the Steelers last week. Nothing to lose. You're playing an opponent you hate. You're trying to spoil their season. You've got, hey, throw it all out there. You got a new quarterback starting for you. Have some fun out there. I also like the Raiders plus 13. I hate betting against Mahomes. I've said it before, but everything for me is just feeling like a cover here. Maybe even a win. I might even get crazy and say the Raiders might win here. If I was putting together a spicy underdog parlay, I would throw the Raiders on it here, money line, just for fun. Little holiday magic.
All right, I like it. Houston making the trip to Jacksonville. Ugly game. Trevor Lawrence may be back for the Jaguars. It's been the Mac Jones show, and it has not gone well for Jacksonville, regardless who's been at quarterback. I'm a little torn on this one. I'm taking the under 43.5, but that really is banking a lot on the Jaguars defense coming to play. I know the Texans will. The Jacksonville Jaguars offense is going to struggle a little bit, but it's going to come down to the Jaguars being able to stop the Texans offense. I'm banking that they are able to stop them for a little while at least. So give me the under 43.5. I'm not impressed by the Texans. Last week they had a terrible, terrible, terrible game against the Titans. Should not have lost that football game. For that reason, I think the Texans probably bounce back in this one. I'm just not sold on what they're bringing to the table right now either. So give me the under 43.5 in this. Scott, what do you got?
I'm with you. Sorry, I just muted my mic with my elbow there. I'm with you. The Texans are struggling offensively, which is a surprise now that they're getting their weapons back. Nico's back. Joe Mixon was looking great. He kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. The Jags have an okay defense if they come to play. The Texans have lost 3 of their last 4 games, and CJ Stroud has not looked good in those games. But I do like the Texans to get back on track here. They have all the firepower they need offensively, and their defense can play. The Jags are struggling. Trevor Lawrence looks like he might or might not play. Who knows who's going to play for them? And they're in purgatory right now as a football team. So I'm going to go with the team that I know has the potential and can score. Joe Mixon, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. They just need to get something going offensively, and they need a good bounce back game. So I'm hoping CJ Stroud could come out here, have a really good performance, bounce back, and get the Texans back on track. So Texans -4 for me. I do not hate the under, though. I think that's a pretty solid pick.
Right on. All right, next game we got Chargers are making the way east to take on the Atlanta Falcons. Chargers are actually typically good in this role. I will say that Justin Herbert, believe it or not, we talked about it earlier in the season. he is actually better in 1 p.m. and Central time zone games than he is in Pacific time zone or Mountain time zone. This one is in the East Coast, so that does fall under that line, but the Chargers are going to be without J.K. Dobbins, it looks like. He is doubtful, and he is pretty much their entire running offense. Without him, they cannot run the football. Justin Herbert has had a great season. He only has 1 interception on the year right now. But with no running game, the Falcons, who are one of the worst teams in the league at getting sacks and pressure on the quarterback, they're going to be able to pin their ears back a little bit and get after Herbert in this one. I think Kirk Cousins comes to play. This is one the Falcons need to win, with the Bucs kind of right on their heels at 5-6. They got a pretty favorable matchup this week as well. So the Falcons need this one to kind of maintain their lead in the division. I'm going to go with the Falcons at home as the dog plus 1.5 to get it done in Atlanta. What do you got, Scott?
Yeah, so you said it, and it hurts me because I'm trying to make a playoff push here in our fantasy league, and J.K. Dobbins has been leading me, and he's going to be out, and that is news to me, and that hurts quite a bit. And after the show, I'll be going to look for players in the waiver wire. And I just looked up the injury report, and Jim did say that he expects J.K. Dobbins to miss some time. So not good. Looks like he's not going to play. Look, the Chargers are working a short week for the Chargers, cross-country trip for the Chargers to the East Coast. They are 2-0 traveling east, but that was against the Browns and the Panthers earlier in the season. I think the Falcons are a much better team than the Browns and the Panthers. The Falcons are 3-3 at home, but they're coming off a bye week. So bye week, 2-game losing streak. You know, I'm hoping they can get it together at home. They had the prep week. The Chargers are coming off a short week and having to travel. J.K. Dobbins is hurt. Didn't Quentin get arrested this week as well?
Oh,
I think
Johnson?
that might have happened. Yeah, I think that might have occurred. I saw that somewhere. That could be fake news. Unsure. Either way, I'm going Falcons at home plus 1.5. I just think coming off the bye week, the prep time, recovery, you got your legs back under you. You're playing a team that's, shorthanded and injuries and having to travel coast to coast on a short week. I'll take the healthy, rested up team at home, the Falcons.
I don't know if he was arrested, but he definitely sucked last week. He didn't catch any footballs, so he was not he was not on the field. So don't know if he was arrested, but he was not there at the game. All right. Fair. We are halfway through. We got 6 games left. We got 6 down so far. Next game up, we are talking Scott's. I don't know if you're. We should just move on. We should just move past this game.
I listen to you talk about your fish.
I don't claim them right now. The Steelers are taking on the Bengals in Cincinnati. Scott, what do you got? Steelers are getting 3 points in this one. They're the dog. Who are you looking at?
Yeah, look. Tomlin as a dog. Love Tomlin as a dog. We are on the road. It's an AFC North game, which is close. I've said that. Against the Baltimore Ravens, you saw it. We're the only team to hold them under 20 points in like the last 2 years, I think. And that's just AFC North football. It's defensive. It's tough to score points. So I like, if anyone's getting 3 points, it's tough to say don't take the 3 points. I love the 3 points here for the Steelers. Look, Joe Burrow has 11 touchdowns, 8 picks against us in his career. Their offensive line, here's the key to the game. Our offense can show up sporadically and we can make good plays, and Pickens can make diving one-handed catches, and Najee can every now and then break one. But when it comes down to it, our offense can't be trusted. We know that the backbone of this team is our defense, and our defense has vanished since the Baltimore Ravens game. Even in the Ravens game, TJ Watt didn't do much. Yes, his only sack in the last 3 games was against the Ravens, but Lamar was running out of bounds and he touched his hip, and that's his only sack. The O-line for Cincinnati is ranked 28th in the league. TJ Watt needs to eat. He needs to have a game. Hightower might be back. If not, Herbig needs to play well. Cam Hayward in the middle. Look, we need to play well defensively. We need to pressure Joe Burrow because he is balling out right now. He looks great. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, 2 players. We might be able to guard one of them. We cannot guard them both. We don't have the talent in the backfield, so we have to put pressure on Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow can hold the ball for more than 3 seconds and we don't put pressure on him, I'm scared that we lose this game. But I'm going to go with my boys here. Steelers +3. We need to put pressure on Joe Burrow. Without pressure on him, I don't see how we win this game.
I think that's a good pick. I'm going to take the under for the reasons that you mentioned. Can't trust the Steelers' offense, too inconsistent. And this Bengals offensive line is atrocious. And their defense has played very well in the last couple weeks when they're trying to make this playoff push as well. You mentioned the Steelers' defense not playing so hot after the Ravens. Well, guess what, Scott? Perfect timing. It's another AFC North matchup. This is going to get the Steelers going. It'll get them ready to go. That defense will be fired up for this one, licking their chops. So I'm not worried about the defense at all in this one. I think this is going to be a defensive battle. I'm looking like 17-13 kind of game. So give me the under 47.5 here, Scott.
Love it. I see you out there, Ian. Yes, this is an old school Heath Miller jersey. Heath.
All right, moving on. That's a real throwback. Cardinals taking on the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. Cardinals are getting 3.5. Vikings are the favorite. Total sitting at 44.5. I'm going the under again in this one. I think the Vikings defense is legit. Their run defense is legit. The Cardinals, a main focus of the Cardinals offense is running the football with James Conner, RPO with Kyler Murray, getting him outside. Vikings, I think, will be ready for it. I think they'll find a way to shut them down. I kind of lean towards the Vikings as well in this game, but that 3.5 hook, it worries me a little bit. So I'm going to stick with the under 44.5 here. Scott, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. The 3.5 is a little scary. Last week, pathetic game for the Cardinals. The Vikings are kind of that team where you look in the NFC and you're like, okay, there's the Lions at 10-1, and you're like, the Vikings are. What are the Vikings doing with Sam Darnold here? They're up at the top of the NFC. It makes no sense. So for me, they're the worst 8-2 team in football, and that just is what it is. Are they 8-2 or no? Yeah, they're 8-2. So
something like that. Yeah.
No, they're 9-2. I stand corrected. Again, that's my point. They're 9-2. I don't know how, but they're winning games. Look, 9-2 in the NFL is not easy to do. They're making it happen. They're winning games. But Arizona's sneaky. They have talent all around the field offensively. Kyler Murray was sacked 5 times last week. So if Minnesota's defense can show up, can Arizona put points on the board? Question number 1. Question number 2 is, what kind of Sam Darnold are we going to get? If it's beginning of the season, looking like prime time, looking like I was going to say Lamar Jackson, but he doesn't move like him. Looking like Joe Burrow back there slinging the ball around. They've got a chance to beat Arizona here, but I like Arizona. They're sneaky. I like them on the road. They've got enough talent. And really, you said that 3.5 point. I love the half point here because I think there's a backdoor cover here for the Cardinals. So I'm going to take the Cardinals plus 3.5. I'm going to take Kyler Murray coming back. I am concerned about the sacks, but I think they just have enough. Kyler Murray can move. We've seen him score 60-plus yard rush touchdowns this year. McBride, Harrison Jr., you mentioned James Conner. So they've got enough offensively to keep up with Minnesota. The question is, what kind of offense are we going to get from Arizona? Is it the offense where they throw to Harrison for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns, and James Conner has 100 on the ground, and Kyler's keeping plays alive with his feet? And then what kind of defense are we going to get in Minnesota? I think it's the biggest key. I'm not going to put my trust in Darnold. So I'm going to take the Cardinals plus 3.5.
Come on, man. Sam Darnold, he's that guy. What's with the Darnold hate? I will say I'm going to piggyback off you in this one. This is the Cover Your Assets game of the week.
Hey,
Scott. Make sure to check it out. CYA.com, shopCYA.com. We just talked about it. You had Cardinals plus 3.5. Vikings are sitting at minus 3.5. Either way, whatever side you're on, make sure to cover your assets with that extra half point. We looked at last week, Vikings and the Bears, same situation. Vikings were a 3.5 point favorite to the Bears. Bears ended up getting that cover at 3.5. They lost by 3. Same sort of situation. I like the Cardinals pick, actually. Their defense has been playing great. They are a sneaky number 1 in their division right now. Nobody's really talking about them. I like that Cardinals pick. All right,
Are
moving on.
are we allowed? So, you kind of stole the thunder there with the cover your asset
Sorry,
game of the week, but I'd like
sorry.
to make this my better bird of the week with the Cardinals. But I don't know if we're allowed to
Oh,
have better bird and cover your asset in the same game or not, but we're doing it.
I
We're
like
doing it.
it. Double whammy, double whammy. Hit them both sides. We got the Buccaneers taking on the Panthers. Buccaneers are a -5.5 point favorite. Panthers looked good last week. Only lost by 3 points to the Chiefs. Probably should have won that game. You called me crazy when I picked the Panthers, and that's the reason I was 7-5 and you were 6-6, Scotty. Uh, I like the Buccaneers in this one. We had them last week against the Giants. They absolutely handled them. I do think the Panthers look better right now than they have all season. I just mentioned they lost to the Chiefs last week by 3. They were on a 2-game win streak before that. So there's some momentum. Things are looking, trending in the right direction. Unfortunately for them, they're running into a Buccaneers buzzsaw, which the
Yep.
Buccaneers have to win. They are sitting at 5-6. They're second in the division. They have to keep pace with the Falcons. The NFC is no joke this year. It's going to be very hard to get into the playoffs with a 9-win season. Um, I think they got to keep pace here. They got to win this division in order to get into the playoffs. So I like the Buccaneers here. Baker Mayfield is undefeated against the Panthers in his career. I think that trend continues. Give me the Bucks to get it done in Carolina. Scott, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm leaning the same way. I mean, I was impressed with the Panthers last week. I don't know if that was the Panthers are playing better or if the Chiefs are really just the Chiefs that we know and they're winning these really close
Fair.
games against teams they have no business being that close to. So I'm still up in the air on that. I don't know which one it means. I say this: the Bucks are the real deal. They're 5-6, but they are a good team. They're not playing bad. Two of their only two road losses came in overtime, and in those games, Baker Mayfield threw for 10 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, I think. So it's not like they're playing bad games. They just don't have the luck like the Chiefs have at the end of the game. Um, in the end, good teams find ways to win. So no excuse there. They are 5-6, but like you said, it's a must-win game against an opponent they should absolutely throttle. Baker Mayfield having a good year, 24 touchdowns, 9 picks. Bucky Irvin, he looks better week after week. For
Yep.
me, I'm going to go with the Bucks on the road, 5.5 points. I just look, the Panthers had their week. That was a shining week for them last week against the Chiefs. And I do think it has to do with the Chiefs not being as good as we think they are in the record shows. You said it. They're going to run into a buzzsaw this week. I like the Bucks to handle it, cover 5.5 points easy.
Yeah, the thing with this Bucks team too, you look at their injuries that they've had on both sides of the football. Their defense was obliterated injury wise for the first half of the season. Wide receivers, they lost Godwin, they lost Mike Evans for a long period of time. They just got him
Mm-hmm.
back last week. So look for this Buccaneers team to finally start putting some things together and go on a run here. I think they definitely have the capability of doing so. 3 games left here. We got the Seahawks making the trip to the Meadowlands to take on the Jets. Ugly, ugly game is what this is going to be, in my opinion. I'm going to go with the under again, 42.5. I think the Jets' defense comes to play. I don't trust Geno Smith in his decision making right now. He is making some terrible decisions throwing the football into double, triple coverage sometimes. Just not doing what he needs to, and then pointing the fingers at a lot of guys other than himself. So I'm not digging the body language coming from Geno and the Seahawks team. I like the head coach. I like how the defense is playing. I think he's a good fit for Seattle. On the flip side, you got the Jets, interim head coach. He is their defensive coordinator. Ever since he took over, the Jets defense has been trash, absolutely atrocious. Offense hasn't been much better. Aaron Rodgers is starting to get a little more comfortable. You can see it kind of week by week. He's getting a little more comfortable planting on that foot, moving around in the pocket. Devontae Adams, Garrett Will, everybody's kind of finding their role. It seems a little bit better in New York right now, but there's no way I'm trusting them whatsoever. So I'm just going to take the under in this game. I think it's going to be kind of a very, very low scoring game. Could be a field goal type game when it comes down to it. Who can make the most field goals? So give me the under 42.5 in this Seahawks Jets matchup. Scott, what do you got?
Yeah, this is my turd of the week. Both these teams are just not performing well. You said it. Geno Smith, not playing well right now, making poor decisions and not playing the leader the team needs. Um, Look, New York is New York. Rodgers is Rodgers. They're not playing well. They're not the team people thought they were going to be. Something is just not clicking. I don't think Rodgers will be a Jet next year. Maybe he'll be a Giant. Who knows? He'll stay in the state. Look, New York is 2-3 straight up at home this season. Those losses have all been by a combined total of 5 points. Seattle's going to have to play really well, in my opinion. Geno Smith, he's got 4 touchdowns, 2 picks on the road this season. It's not great stats for him. For that reason, I'm going Seattle money line. I would love to take the under. I do like the under here quite a bit. I said I'd go money line. I'm staying money line. I could see this being a really gross, like 14-10 game, something just disgusting like that. But I'm going to go with the Seahawks here. Take the money line. I don't trust the Jets one bit.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. We got the primetime games. We got Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football as our last 2 games of the week. Charles, I see you in the chat, sir. Yeah,
Hey,
be a first-round knockout. First-round knockout,
Hey.
Charles. We got the
No, sir.
49ers making the trip cross-country up north to Buffalo Bills country. Brock Purdy is supposed to play in this one. He sat out last week. He's supposed to be back here. Again, just, we talked about it earlier with some of these other teams. Injuries have been a huge problem for the San Francisco 49er team. I would lean the Bills in this one if I had to. 7 points is a lot, I think, between these two teams. I'm going to go with the under again, 44.5. There's a trend for me this week. I'm going under 44.5. I think that they're going to do enough to slow down Josh Allen and this offense. Josh Allen, I think, is going to find a way to get it done. That ground game and James Cook is going to find a way to get it done. I think Buffalo wins the game. I'm just not sure by how much, and I'm not sure how many they can score. Same goes for 49ers on the flip side. I think they'll be able to run the football. It'll be interesting to see if Brock Purdy does go, and if he does go, how much he can contribute. For that reason, I'm just going to go with the under in this one, 44.5. Scott, what do you got?
Yeah, the 49ers are struggling. Last 2 games against the Packers, the Seahawks barely winning against the Bucks the week before. Look, it's not an easy place to play in Buffalo. The Bills are 5-0 straight up at home. Josh Allen is playing well right now. 12 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a rating of 112 at home. The 49ers have lost by 7 points only once this season with Purdy as their quarterback. So if he plays, he does add a little something to the team. They've got a great defense. They can score at any moment if Purdy is playing. But the Bills at home, Josh Allen playing great. It's just hard to bet against Bills Mafia. For that reason, I'm going the Buffalo Bills -7. I'm putting my trust in Josh Allen. He's hot right now. They need to win this game. It's a big win for them. This can be a statement game, I think, for them internally to know, hey, San Francisco 49ers are not a walkover, even though their record is not as good as I think they are on paper. But if they can win, they beat Kansas City, I think that'll give them a little bump going into the playoffs. So give me the Bills here, Bills Mafia. Maybe we'll see some snow. I did see this lake effect snow going on right now, maybe 6 inches to a foot for that game. In the forecast, it just depends. Lake effect, you never know what's going to happen till the day before. So that could be a fun snow game. I would love to see it. I'd love to see a snow game in Buffalo. Bills Mafia, snowballs. But yeah, give me the Bills.
Yeah, they're assholes during snow games. All right, last game of the week.
All right, hold on, pause.
They are, dude. They pelt teams in the end zones with no regard with those snowballs. All right.
Oh, 100% agree. I'm here to talk about mustaches, sir. This mustache right here, grit, determination. Yours is scared. Yours is scared.
What?
That's why you're taking the unders. You're scared. This mustache right here, look at it. Just look at it. I see Henderson.
I'm not gonna let the chat divide us, Scott. As much as you want to fill your heart with hate right now, I'm gonna direct my hate towards Charles. Ghost Rider for Drake, more like Ghost Rider for Kendry. You better get it right, son. All right.
Yes, and I like
game,
Cheeseburger Factory.
last game of the week. We got Monday Night Football. The Cleveland Browns are making the trip to Denver. It's going to be, I'm sure, cold for this one. Probably a chance for snow as well here. I'm going to go with the under 41.5. I can't trust Jameis. I can't. I love him. He's great for football. He should be mic'd up any moment that he can be. But not against this Broncos defense, not in Denver. They're too hot right now. I think the Broncos offense will do enough on this Browns defense to get the win, but it's going to be ugly. It's going to be low scoring. It's going to be a Monday Night Football game that, you're bundled up, and it's going to drag on a little bit. Lots of field goals, lots of defensive stops, lots of 3-and-outs. Give me the under 41.5 in this Browns-Broncos matchup. Scott, what you got?
See, I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, look, the Broncos at home, I do agree with that. They're making a push. They're playing well right now. But I think the Broncos offense is coming alive right now. They have not had a turnover in the past 3 games, and Bo Nix has 8 touchdowns, no picks, and has only been sacked 4 times in those games. So they're playing well. He's getting better week after week. I feel like we keep, at least for me, every week I keep talking about Bo Nix, and week after week I keep giving him props, a little bit more respect, saying he's playing better, getting it together, and he is. Myles Garrett, he's playing well, 6 sacks in the past 3 games. So really, I think it comes down to who can score points on tough defenses here. I do like the Broncos to win this game. I think their offense will put up more than the Browns, but both these defenses are playing really well right now. And for that reason, I'm going to take the under 41.5. I just think it's going to be low scoring. I think Denver's going to win, but I think it's just 2 tough defenses. Myles Garrett is going to wreak havoc. Denver's defense, their secondary is playing really well. I don't know how Jameis Winston is going to throw the ball. Yeah, give me the under in this one.
All right. Right on. All right, let me throw up the recap for this week. We'll go over it real quick. I'm on the under in the Bears-Lions. You're on the Lions. I'm on the under in the Giants-Cowboys. You're on the Cowboys. We're both on the Packers against the Dolphins. We're both on the Raiders to cover against the Chiefs. I'm on the Texans-Jags under. You're on the Texans. We're both on the Falcons at home against the Chargers. I'm on the under in the Steelers-Bengals. You're on the Steelers. I'm on the under in the Cardinals-Vikings. You're on the Cardinals. We're both on the Bucks to get it done against the Panthers. I'm on the under in Seahawks-Jets. You're on the Seahawks. I'm on the under in Bills-49ers. You're on the Bills. And I'm on the under in Browns-Broncos, and so are you. I think it's going to be a really boring week, Scott. Not a great week for all anytime touchdowns, which I think you got for us right now. So what do we got?
Yeah, I do have one. My Turkey Day anytime touchdown. Your choice, Gibbs or Amon-Ra. I do like them both to score in the Lions game. Josh Jacobs, I said it earlier, I like him to get in. And then CeeDee Lamb, I like to score for the Cowboys. Look, I want everyone to look at my badge.
I like those.
Yeah, it's not a bad parlay. I still have the badge, but I'd like to point out that Miami Mike is fighting, and he is 1 game away from being 500. So we'll see if he can do it this week. We're getting to the end of the season. We got some picks that are going either way. Like a lot of over-unders for drink wine. You can sense he's really making strategic picks in a push. He feels the pressure I put on him from beginning of the season, and it's working. It's working. He's getting 1 game a week for the last 3 weeks back. So good for him. Yeah, I see a Henderson keep pounding. Not this week. Panthers aren't getting it done. I know you're excited because the 3-point loss to the Chiefs is big for you guys right now. But yeah, look, happy Turkey Day, everyone. Thanks for getting in a chat. We appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. What you got for us, Miami?
No, that's it. You said it all. I appreciate everybody that hopped in the chat. It's always great to hear from y'all. You keep us laughing, so we appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Good luck to everybody this weekend. We will see you next week. Same time, same place. Till then, Scott, happy Turkey Day, dude. I will see you next week. Good luck.